It's going to be tough to compare to last week.
I know.
Big old turnout. Speaking of, I need my bourbon blade to be fiddling with while we do the show.
All right, y'all ready?
Good fiddler. Let's get this bad boy going.
All right, here we go.
Welcome to Off the Cut.
Dude, I haven't touched any wood in a long time.
I don't care how long it is.
Or you're trying to make eye contact with the person.
Maybe you're looking at it from the wrong angle.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad we got the explicit out of the way early.
If I'm going to put money into this, it's going to be great. And I guarantee it.
Get it? Welcome to Off the Cut, episode 158 for Tuesday, April 1st, 2025. Big day. And, well, before we get into the our mandatory ad reads, it's 158 episodes in, and a lot of people have been asking, how long does this thing go? Well, this might be one of our last episodes, but we'll talk more about that later on. First course of events. You're going to want to head over to camtools.com, not just this week, not just next week, but every single week, because over there, they've got tools for woodworkers by woodworkers. Zach, what does that mean?
That means that every single thing that's in their store is either developed by Jonathan and his team and his other content creator friends, or it's stuff they actually use in their own workshops. That sounded too ad-ready. Let me do that again. Or it's stuff they actually use in their own workshops.
In their workshops.
In their workshops.
That's fancy. Well, another cool thing is that a portion of all the proceeds for all their sales, like I said, all a lot, goes directly towards the Katz Moses Woodworkers with Disabilities Fund, which gets tools and resources into the hands of folks who need it most. And you're going to want to go over there, kmtools.com, sign up for their newsletter, because you're going to get 5% off. And Jonathan has a big product launch coming soon.
Whoa.
We can't talk about it. All I'll say is it has something to do with a massive fleet of Bamboo Labs 3D printers.
Oh.
But that's all we can say. So, the other cool thing about kmtools.com is they're giving away a $50 gift card to kmtools.com every single month to one of our patrons. All that you have to do if you want to get entered to win that is go over to patreon.com/offthecutpodcast, and you'll get entered to win that gift card. You'll get the bonus episode. You'll get the after show. You'll get the exclusive episode. You'll get the bonus exclusive episode. Basically an entire another podcast.
Yeah, how long was our bonus episode with Keith and Jason last week?
Oh, it was like a double episode.
It was like an hour and 15 minutes, I think.
I think it was longer than the main show, so there's good content.
It almost
there.
always is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of weeks ago when Keith was on, what was the bonus show?
It was like 2 hours.
2 hours?
Oh, it was ridiculous.
I was like listening to an episode of Joe Rogan over there.
Sophie was mad at
Another
me. She was
wood
like,
shop.
why did you do your podcast for so long? I was like, well, the conversation was so good, I just couldn't stop.
It was riveting. the main show listening to here is basically a warm-up for the real show.
So true. True.
Well, hey, Deric, first off, before we're going to do the giveaway here. First off, I'm not going to say I got 1,000 messages. I got about 7 messages from people this week that were like, that intro that you did was incredible. And I was like, here's the thing. Deric gets all of the credit for the audio and video mastering of this thing.
If there was a way to give Deric more than 100%, I would do it.
I know. That audio intro last week was awesome. Even Keith and Jason thought it was hilarious too.
Excellent. I like to hear that.
It was good.
Hey,
and then
Eric,
when you added
got a little
the J-Cats in.
You got a little something on your face there. You want to wipe that off?
Oh, yep. Thank you. Got it.
There you go.
There it is. We're back.
We are back.
Or if the people who are listening to the show and not watching it on YouTube, which you should, we were trying to pull a little April Fool's joke on people.
That's right.
Deric blurred us all out, so we were just looked like we were invisible ghosts talking,
Mhm.
and nobody really
Very
said anything in the
spooky.
live chat. Nobody,
Yeah, they noticed
Nobody
the live
fell
chat.
for it. People knew we were pulling a joke, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. It's hard to pull stuff over on the live stream crew. They're pretty sharp bunch of
Yeah,
people.
Sharp crew.
Sure. Well, one
Sorry.
thing that we're not. I don't have a segue here. Tell me how many times you want me to refresh the giveaway.
Well, I just won because it's April 1st.
Okay. You ready for
There you
this?
go.
I am.
Brett Meraki.
Hell yeah, Brett.
Oh, hey, Brett.
Brett, I will get you connected with Jonathan and Mark over there at Cam Tools to fulfill the gift card. Brett Meraki. Gift card. That way you get to speak your notes out loud when you write them. Yeah, Brett, I'll get you connected with Jonathan and his team. They'll get you that $50 gift card to Cam Tools. And out your
Yeah. But it's towards a bourbon blade.
Oh,
I really
yeah.
like mine.
Dude, I still like when I carry mine. It's like a fidget spinner.
Swing. It's getting better. The more I use it, the more work. Maybe I'm getting a callus on my finger, but it feels like it's opening a lot smoother and cleaner now.
Well,
Now, do you
work it
actually
a little
use-
more? It loosens up.
Yeah, well, I noticed that you can take like the little screwdriver guy that comes with it and either like
Yeah.
tighten it or loosen it, and you can really adjust the action of it.
100%.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. But whew, you cut anything with that thing recently?
All the time. I mean, this is my primary box opener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel
And my breaking down boxes for recycling too, you know?
Oh,
You
yeah.
get a lot of
Good for
Amazon
that.
packages. I can see you got a whole pile of boxes
Oh.
behind you.
Buddy, don't get me
Yeah.
started.
I go into the recycling bin with this bad boy, I flick it open, and I start carving up the boxes so they take up less room in the box.
Okay. Now tell me if I'm crazy, you can tell me I'm crazy. You ever cut boxes
Mhm.
and in your head you make like sound effects and then you're not sure if you said it out loud, something like, oh man, that was a good one. Like, oh, that was a good
Yeah.
cut.
I mean, I basically do running commentary on my life at all times. It's kind of a side effect of being a YouTuber, right? I'm constantly writing like a little VO script
I know.
of everything I'm doing. And then he did a very purposeful cut right through
Oh,
the
yeah.
center of the box and it sliced together apart perfectly.
Well, so like I'll like cut a box and I'll be like, and I'm like, wait, did I make that sound out loud or was that just in my head? That's what I'm talking about. You know,
I see.
Oh, see, I got like, I'll be in the shop with headphones on. You can't hear anything going on around you. Let one rip, thinking I'm alone. Then I turn around and there's my wife.
Oh, yeah. Well, that
Oh,
I got
happened.
the
yeah.
opposite
Too.
problem there.
because you
Yes.
can't hear it, so you're assuming no one else can.
Yes, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where the noise canceling headphones tend to get you in trouble.
Yeah.
Fail you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, I do make quite a few of my own sound effects at the same time. But when you have something like a bourbon blade, it kind of makes its own sound effects. So I don't think you
Camtools.com.
need it.
We need like a code, you know, like
I know.
off the cut from.
But we both know, Eric,
Yeah.
the use of that code would be very sparse, and then Jonathan might start questioning whether or not he's right to sponsor this podcast.
Well, yeah, I mean that's true. That's we are basically like a billboard, right?
Yes.
And the fact that you put a billboard up on the side of the highway, no one actually knows if the money you spent on that billboard was effective use of advertising. Just like Jonathan
Yes.
has no idea if this
Yes.
podcast is an effective use of advertising.
Isn't that the craziest thing about being a content creator? Like, okay, so every agency in the world's like, well, I know how I can track it. I can give Eric a code that says Eric 10 and that gives 10% off. It's like, yeah, that will work for some sales, but we know the conversion rate on those codes is like absolutely
Fractions of 1%.
fractions, very small fractions of 1%, right? But that's not, but like, that's like saying, like, if you put a special phone number on a billboard and somebody, like, how many people would call that special number? Probably a vanishingly small, very similar thing. But you're trying to, our job is to kind of carve out that mind share, right? So
Right.
next time you're thinking of a woodworking tool company to get your tools from, you think KM Tools, and you don't even think of where
Who
it
sent
came
you?
from, right?
Who sent you there?
Yeah. We're just like very top level brand awareness people.
Top of the funnel. So I want to give people a real thing of what that means. Okay. So I have a link for a router bit company, Bits and Bits. You know, they were a sponsor of our show last episode with Shop Sounds.
True.
I've been working on them for a couple years. Love their stuff. They're great.
Is it Bits and Bits or Bits? Because you guys said Bits last time.
Bitsbits.com, but I
Bits?
believe the website is Bits. Okay, it's Bits and Bits Company, but it's bitsbits.com.
Bitsbits.com. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so hear me out. Over the last year, I've sent 8,866 people to their website through my link.
Okay.
Of those 8,866 people, would you fashion a guess at what? How many people actually bought something?
Probably more than that, but I'm guessing it doesn't crack
1%.
100.
Yeah, it's under 100.
Under 100, yeah.
So it's like those people directly clicked on my link, yet such a small fraction of those people actually bought anything.
Right.
But there's no way to tell if 6 months later they're like, hey, you know, Eric was talking about Bits.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go back and check them out.
Yeah. Or not even Eric was talking about. Just, I need a router bit. What was that website that specializes in router bits that I heard of somewhere? I don't even know where.
Right.
Well, I think it was Bits and Bits. And it's like, you don't really get credit for that, but that's like kind of your job is to kind of spread that like very high level awareness.
That's why I think, I mean, when you first get started in the whole like social media game, you know, Starbond CA Glue will be the first person that approaches you and is like, hey, do you want an affiliate code? And you're thinking, oh man, I got a lot of followers. Like if everybody bought one bottle of CA Glue, okay, I can see what that adds up.
I could be rich.
Yeah, no one cares. Like,
Yeah.
Your audience, no one's clicking on that.
Yeah.
Like,
and like sometimes you do hit, you know, I don't know, like I'm sure I've had something that converted pretty well. And I was like, oh, you know, like I made a couple of bucks off my affiliate, but it's not, that's never going to be like the main thrust is like those direct conversions. And I think some companies understand that and other ones are all about like, all they care about is how many conversions you got from your ad.
Well, I think it's a lot more difficult to put an ROI on general brand awareness.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Very hard. But that's why, like, you know, all the biggest companies advertise. Like, do you think Coca-Cola cares about like the measuring the ROI?
No.
Like they just want to be top of mind next time you need a refreshing beverage. So they're just constantly spending money.
I mean, look at like you go to, you know, you go to the anywhere, any sporting center, whatever.
Coke everywhere.
Just plastered all over the
Before
place.
Movie theater, before you go see a movie at a movie theater, you'll probably watch like 6 Coca-Cola ads before the movie starts.
Dancing Raisinets.
Yeah.
Dancing Raisinets, right? Like, but what's the ROI on the Dancing Raisinets? It's like, well, I don't know, but Coke is the number one drink in the world.
Hey, you know who's getting passive product placement now, and I genuinely want to talk about them?
Who?
Bamboo Labs.
Oh, yeah, you see the new printer in the background?
Yeah,
we touched on it a little bit.
That's pretty bad, boy.
So you've had it for what, like, you've had it for like a month or so, month or two?
No, not that long. 3 weeks, maybe?
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the, so for everybody who doesn't know,
yeah,
give them this is not sponsored by Bamboo. The three of us use Bamboo stuff. We love it. And I want to know about the new printer. So tell me about it.
I mean, high level, I think that the coolest thing you can say about it is that it's a laser cutter and it's a printer at the same time.
Yeah.
And also
vinyl cutter.
and a vinyl cutter as well too, and a laser engraver and all the different things. So I mean, I guess to go back to marketing speak, is Bamboo's trying to push this as a manufacturing hub. I'm doing air quotes for everybody just listening.
Sure.
But I mean, I'm working on a project with it now. I'm going to print a part, then I'm going to cut some leather that I'm then going to bond to the part that I printed. And then I'm going to print another part. I'm going to put a wood piece in it, and the wood piece I'm cutting on the laser. And then I'm also going to switch the laser to lower power setting and then engrave the wood piece with some like custom graphics on it. So it's like, that's all going to happen inside one machine, which is pretty crazy.
That's
Are you
pretty
making a
nuts.
slingshot?
What's that?
So are you making a slingshot? Sounds like a slingshot.
That would be pretty cool, though. I could probably make a slingshot with one of these things.
Making your first run into the adult toy industry.
Yeah. So the other big thing about this one is that it's got dual heads, so you can print different materials at the same time.
Without having to like purge filament and reload it and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I just completed a print behind me where I did support interface and regular PLA at the same time. Doing it on my X1 Carbon would have taken 4 hours, but doing it on the H2D, the new Bamboo printer, it did it in 2 hours because there were 66 filament changes that would have had to have happened on the X1 Carbon. But the H2D was able to do it without ever purging and switching filaments. You just switch between two different nozzles. So in some scenarios, it can be a huge time saver. And then you can also print, another thing in this project that I'm working on is I'm going to have a hard piece, but then I'm also going to print soft TPU directly onto it. It'll just bond right to it.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's it's nuts.
I'm curious, and I mean, I'm sure it doesn't do this, but do you see a way that maybe they could use the printer with the laser? Well, you got to swap out the laser, don't you? It's not on there with the printer,
So here,
it?
I got the laser here.
It's a module that like clips on, if I'm not mistaken, Zach, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it just clicks right on. There's a little plastic cover that covers the extruder. You pop that plastic cover off, the slot's in a position. You connect this cable, you plug a hose in here, and then you press down this lever. So it's like a 30-second changeover.
I was thinking, like, if they're on the same head, over time, and eventually, like, you see like a printer where they've got a laser and an extruder together, and after it extrudes, it uses the laser to smooth over those layer lines as it goes up.
That would be pretty. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. You couldn't do that with the H2D, at least I don't think you could. But I definitely see the potential for that. You know, like especially like maybe like a wider laser, you could like smooth over that entire top layer and just really get rid of the layer lines.
It's almost like using like an iron to just like melt it or like burn it or smooth it over.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys have messed around with the iron setting on your X1 Carbons, but it's pretty cool. It'll like take the hot tip and pass it over the top surfaces on prints and melt the top layer just a little bit to make it smoother. Interesting.
I use it a couple times. It does an all right job as long as it's the same color. Like if you have multiple colors mixed together, it doesn't work great, I don't think.
Yeah,
in my experience.
Yeah, I would say it improves. Like it's still not perfect. It's still a 3D printed part, but it's still like, I don't know, 50% better than not doing the ironing.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I got to check the progress of one of my prints. I got to open up Bamboo Studio right now.
Oh, whoa. Do you finally move your printers into a different room?
They're in the closet.
I see. Usually they're right behind you. I noticed they've just been replaced with some boxes.
They're not on the floor, yeah. Well,
how many do you have, Eric? Do you have 2?
I got 2. Okay. And I'm considering getting another one.
Yeah. So another cool thing, sorry to interrupt you, is the new AMS system.
Yeah.
The AMS 2 Pro, they call it. I don't know why they call it 2 Pro, because I don't think there's an AMS 2. But it's got a dryer built into it. So I'm thinking I want to get some more of these AMS 2 Pros and hook them up to my X1 Carbons.
They're not much more expensive.
No. They're not much more expensive. Is it true that it's not able to dry and print at the same time?
That is true. The annoying thing about it is you have to unload the filament before you engage the drying setting.
Interesting.
I don't know why. Maybe it rotates the filament as you dry it. When I ran it, I didn't see that, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure why they did that. Maybe they just don't want the bit of filament that's loaded into the tube to not be dried.
Well, my understanding from the video I saw was, it does rotate it because it's got heating elements on that bottom half of the roll, so it does have to rotate it around to get to those other elements.
I ran an 8-hour drying cycle, but I kind of left the room. I wasn't watching it too closely, so it is possible that it was rotating, and I just wasn't paying attention.
Maybe maybe it detects the moisture, and if there isn't enough moisture, it doesn't rotate.
Maybe, yes. It definitely does have a sensor in it that tells you exactly what the humidity in the box is currently.
So my only concern would be like if you're running this machine, a lot, right? You would never be able to utilize the drying, but it's also unrealistic to think that you're running the machine 24/7, right?
Yeah, I think it's kind of one of those things where it's like, before you go to sleep one night, you pull out all your filaments, you flip the dryer setting on it, you come back in the morning, you put them all in, you're good to go, kind of.
Yeah. Because right now I have a filament dryer, but it's just a single spool, so it doesn't hold a whole lot.
Yes, yeah.
It's kind of a bummer.
You probably can't see it on the video stream, but I actually have 2 AMSs now. So there's 5 filament rolls up on top of my H2D. So there's one that's actually a separate secondary AMS that's specifically for high temperature stuff. So conceivably, I could kind of rotate one filament into that one and use that one dedicated just for drying.
So whenever it's printing 2 different colors or 2 different filaments, can it pull 2 different filaments from the AMS, or do you have to have a separate?
You have to, unfortunately, you have to have a separate AMS. Although
that makes sense. I
might need to play around. I'm pretty sure that's the way it works. I might need to play around with it a little bit more. But if you had 2, like 4-spool AMSs, you could run one of those to each nozzle, right? So you could have 8, but you could switch between 4 different filaments on one nozzle.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about this because I might end up buying one, or at least another printer or 2.
Yeah.
Or 3.
I'm definitely considering getting rid of one of my X1 carbons because there's not really any point in having one now that I have the H2D.
Well, hey, if you want to get rid of it,
true.
I'll take it. Although shipping that would be a nightmare. It's probably be easier for me to just buy one than to try to pack it up and ship it. But the reason I'm interested in it is because you know how I said I launched my first product on the YouTube video, right? It was like the sustainer slide thingies.
Well, I saw another one that you launched as a community post, which we can get to.
Yes. So I did the sustainer slides, got some really good feedback about that. And then one of the things I've been working on was for that Craig concealed hinge jig thing. Do I have one? Oh, here it is. So it's this. It's like this little hinge cup that goes on the. Here's the original one. This is the original Craig concealed hinge jig. So you chuck up your drill to that bit, and the little 35 millimeter bit comes down there, and it clears out the hole. The problem is it gets just absolutely loaded with chips, and like with a 35 millimeter bit, like you're making big chips with that, right? It's not sawdust; it's monstrous chips. So I designed this replacement for it that just slides right in, and then you connect your dust collection hose to it, put it on the website, and I was like, yeah, okay, whatever. I'll just do a little community post about it. Well, good problem to have. It's way outblown my expectations, and like I'm like, I don't know if I have enough machines to keep up with this. Uh-oh, Zach. Is Zach on mute? Did he bump your mute thing?
Am I fixed?
There, no, you're good. You're good.
Okay, sorry about that. That's my bad. I saw a lot of people asking whether or not you were going to sell the STL file as well as the actual physical part.
That's what I wanted to get to. So, I put the file out, or put the thing out. People are buying it. Awesome. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. But I can only print 9 and one printer at a time.
Okay.
And it takes 13 hours. So I can only make 18 a day on one printer. And I have 2 printers, which means I can only make 36 a day. And that's if I'm literally running it 24/7.
All the time. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't think this is enough to keep up with demand.
Really? Wow.
So I'm like, I might have to get another printer or 2.
Yeah.
So I already started talking to Keith. I was like, dude, what do you use to print out your labels? Like, just send me a link. I'm going to buy it immediately. So now I got like a thermal printer that prints out labels and stuff.
Oh, man.
Boxes in bulk on Amazon. They end up only being like 30 cents a piece.
Oh, that's not so bad.
They're dirt cheap.
Pretty good.
And but I got a system down that's so fast and efficient and easy for me. And like, I kind of don't mind it. Where like, I was working on a script and I'm like, oh my God, I just need a little break. And I'm like, okay, I'll just print out some orders real quick and then get back to it. Like,
so how are you handling the pickup? Are you doing a thing where one of the services comes to your front door and grabs the boxes, or taking them to the post office?
I might do that because that's free if I'm not mistaken, right?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
I think if you set it up in advance with like USPS or something like that, they'll do it. But that's like scheduled like a few days out. Like you can't do it like come today.
Right. So the post office is on the way to the gym. So for me, it's easy the past few days to just like throw them in the car, and then when I head to the gym, just pop them in there real quick. But yeah. So then I was like, I got a couple orders come in from like YouTube and Patreon and stuff. So I was like, I'll send it out to my email list. That was my issue. Because my email list is like 15,000 people.
Yeah.
That was my issue. I mean, again, good problem to have.
I mean, yeah, definitely. Hell yeah, man. That's great.
Maybe you need to raise the price on it.
But I feel like it's a very reasonable price now. It's $22.
And it's an upgrade for a product. How much does the Craig jig itself cost?
$40, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, you really don't have much room. You can go up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't have it cost more than the actual thing itself.
No. And that's why I was like, I feel like it's a reasonable thing. But so anyway, getting back to the question that you asked and a lot of other people have been asking was, are you going to be selling the STL file for it? Mm-hmm. So when I put out the Sustainer slide product that I made, the one that, drills, you screw to the side of the cabinet, you can slide in and out like a Sustainer 3, open the lid, put it back, yada, yada, yada. I did the STL file and it sold really, really, really well. Mm-hmm. I would say 96% of the sales were for the STL file, 4% were for the physical file.
Oh, okay.
And a couple things that I didn't foresee. One, there is a massive spectrum of 3D printing competency.
Right. Okay.
Meaning that to give you a number, I got probably 30 to 40 emails from people looking for, hey, this didn't print right. I think your file's messed up.
Yeah.
And I tested it and it snapped. Well, you're using the wrong filament and you're not using the infill and the walls that you need, which I put in the instructions for it. And it's like you've mentioned in the past, it's just people's sheer inability to follow instructions.
Yep. Now, you could start sending out what they call a .3mf file.
I know.
Which has a lot of that stuff
Everything
baked into
dialed
it.
in.
Only works if they have a slicer that can read those, but most slicers these days can. You can send out both. Like, hey, here's one to just use, and here's one with my preferred settings.
Right. So not only do we have competency of 3D printing, which I totally understand, right? I totally get it. We also have, in the product description, it says for the STL file, you have to have a printer that has the capability of printing 11 inches by 2 inches.
Mm-hmm.
So there were people who reached out that were like, well, I have a Bamboo, but it's like the A mini or whatever. That doesn't have a big enough print bed. You can't even print it diagonally. So it wouldn't work. And then I had somebody reach out, say, and I have to say, I appreciate them asking. Not that it stops them, but they said, hey, about your file, it's totally cool if I sell this, right? And I was like, no, it's for personal use only. So then I got to thinking, I was having a discussion with Mandy about this, and I genuinely am looking for your guys' feedback and just like have an open forum of discussion. Should I or should I not provide STL files for sale? So if you offer it for sale, you're going to inherently have more sales, right? Because more people are likely to just buy the file because it's obviously cheaper than me printing it out and mailing it to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
You also are then basically giving somebody the sauce to then be able to print your exact file and distribute it however they want.
Yeah.
However, at the same time, if somebody really wants to copy my idea, they can. It will just take more effort to know how to have to like model it and everything like that. And I genuinely don't know. We were discussing it for a while, and I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts.
I kind of come down on the side of, if somebody is really interested in stealing your idea, they could buy it, measure it, and model it up. Like, that like most of the effort there was in the prototyping and the figuring things out.
Yes.
With a pair of calipers, I could probably recreate that thing in like an hour, maybe.
Yeah. And obviously it would take a little
like
fine tuning, but within a day, you could have an exact replica.
So I think if somebody really wanted to rip off your idea, it wouldn't be that hard to do. But I mean, I don't know. You're
also giving them the STL file, which removes that barrier. Makes it easier.
And so truthfully, I'm not even trying to be selfish and bring up the money aspect of it. Do you think you would make more money offering physical and STL, or do you think you would make more money only offering the physical file?
Well, but you said by your own data, you said you sold way more of the STL for the drawer slides, right?
Oh, yeah.
So if you could sell 10x the number of STL files that you have, the physical, wouldn't that be a nice payday for you of the Craig jig part?
I think, but are people only buying that? They're like, "Ooh, I want it. Oh, they have the STL file. I'll take it." If the STL file isn't available, are they just going to get the physical version anyway?
Yeah.
So, I mean, first of all,
let's hear it, Deric.
You're running a business, so run a business. Don't worry about like saving people's feelings or doing a service in any real way, other than providing a service for a fee. That's what you're doing. You're providing a service for a fee. So don't be afraid of that.
Yeah.
And I would say look at your sales, like compare the two, like physical versus that STL file.
Yeah. And
if that STL file is just like 4, 5, 10x the sales of the physical, then I mean, it seems to be okay.
Yeah.
How long what's the longevity that you expect from this product anyways?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I would think about that too, because if it's something that you don't expect to be selling in 2-3 years, or to be a big seller like it is now in 2-3 years, then yeah, sell the STL file. So by the time somebody else gets into the market and starts wedging you out, that product's probably going to be, spreading out anyways.
Yeah, I feel like there truly isn't a great. It's not a cut and dry answer. It's like I see the pros and cons of both sides. My genuine, like in my head, it's not the money. It's that, especially with like a product like this one here, like this has to be printed with supports. And if you don't print it the right way, it's not going to work. And I don't want to deal with customer service issues about trying to teach people how to 3D print.
Do you think the amount of time you would spend answering support emails would be greater than the amount of time you would spend taking packages and printing labels and all that stuff? Because that's kind of the trade-off, right? Physical goods, you have that shipping and handling time expense. Whereas with digital goods, you have more time spent on support and aftercare.
Another experiment you could run is maybe take the STL file down for like a week or two and see if the physical goes up. If the physical sales start going up, then it might offset it. You might not.
That's interesting. Put the STL file and mark that as like currently unavailable and see if it pushes the physical product more.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
So like under development or, whatever.
Yeah.
Or
you could do like and
as to that
list or something for the STL
vacuum attachment for the Craig jig there. Have you talked to Jonathan about maybe getting him to take it on for you?
It's something I'm definitely considering.
Okay.
I'm not sure yet.
It might be. Never mind. I was gonna say there might be like legal stuff around making an accessory.
That's true.
That's true. But I don't know I don't know that that's actually the case. But maybe better to fly under the radar for now, at least.
Yeah. It's just a very interesting problem that I didn't foresee any of this, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, it's exciting now, right? Like you get to kind of ask these questions. And
this is one of those things that's like, this is how you grow in a business. Like if you're unsure and like making, I don't know if you consider this an error, but you're like, oh, this is kind of uncharted territory. It's kind of fun because you're trying something new and growing.
Yeah, totally. I mean, and look, if I were in your shoes, I would sell the STL and I would use this as a data point to inform future product decisions. Because likely this is not going to be the last good you end up selling, right? So I would try and get the data early so that you can make decisions with more information later in your business.
Right. I think I like your guys' idea of like removing the STL file for the rails, see if it pushes physical product sales. Yeah. If so, maybe that's what you want to do.
And maybe like to reach out to Travis from Shop Nation, because he sells both the STL and the physical version of his.
Does he? Because
collectors,
I went on his website and
he did at one point. Maybe
and I just clicked on one of them. Okay, like this tool. Get out of here, Travis. You already have.
If he used to and he doesn't anymore, there might be a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
Like tool storage solutions, battery hangers. Yeah, I don't see the STL file on any of his stuff.
You might be a good person to just have on and talk to it about.
Yeah, definitely
about other things.
Yeah, you're right. Looks like maybe he doesn't. He did.
It used to be like a kit where he would send you the STL file and like the screws and stuff. Yeah, he doesn't do it.
Well, I would definitely.
Oh wait, no, he does print your own kit.
Oh, so he's maybe got it listed as like two separate things.
Yeah.
I would still reach out, send him a DM and just ask, like, "Hey, man, how'd that go for you?"
Yeah, we gotta get him on the show. I know I don't know him super duper well. We met him at events plenty of times and chatted with him.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to reach out.
He doesn't make it easy to find it on his website, which might be telling. Because I remember when I was looking, it was just like an option on the checkout page.
It was a variant. Yeah, you look at the dust collection thing and it's just like Do you want 1, 2, or do you want the STL file?
Exactly.
Oh, there's a good point made in the chat here. Drew selling the covers for track saws.
Yeah.
I might talk to him as well because he's doing a bunch of 3D printing stuff.
And I don't think Drew sells STL files.
Is he not? Oh, okay. I didn't know what he sold.
Yeah. I think, because his whole thing is like the custom logo and stuff on it, right?
I think he does. Yeah, he made me a couple of those. I don't know if he sells those or he just gives them out to people or whatever. But
yeah.
My biggest thing is like, I want the quality to be there. So like if somebody prints it out differently than I would, like they might have a poor experience with the product.
Yep. I've had that issue on some of my STL files that I've sold. People left reviews and said, hey, this thing, this part didn't fit. And it's like, I don't know what to tell you because when I print it out, it fits perfectly. So,
and especially for like this that has to interface with another piece.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty critical.
Yeah.
It's like I have my own quality control. I don't know.
And if they're using like an inferior PLA filament, like Amazon Basic or something like that, and
this is again, devil's advocate though. If you want to be your own quality control, you actually have to do the quality control, which means every single one that comes off the printer, you got to test it and make sure that it actually clicks in nicely and everything's still working good.
Yeah, I actually have done that.
Yeah. I don't doubt that you have, but that's a time expense, right? Like,
you're absolutely.
At what point does that become like every other, and then like every third, and maybe every 10th that you're testing?
Yeah.
I mean, very valid. It's extremely valid. I don't know. It's a interesting predicament to be in, I guess. Like, I don't know, but anywho, if I do end up buying more printers, do you think the H2D is just like, why wouldn't you buy that one?
Well, if you're saying you're printing something that needs supports, you're going to be able to. Not only do you have a bigger build plate, but you're going to be able to.
Yeah, I was going to say that's what you need.
You're going to potentially be able to double your throughput because you'll be able to print the support layer without switching nozzles.
Yeah. And you'll be able to print more at one time. So instead of having to go up to the printer every 13 hours, you might be able to go up to it every 18 hours or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, for the most part, once it gets the first layer or two down, it should be fine.
Yeah. Although I did just have a print that didn't
I did too. I had to just cancel one of mine.
Yeah. But it does happen every once in a while.
Hey, in a different
What's the longest print you've had?
The longest? Probably over a day.
Oh, easy. Yeah, I've had some 28, 30-hour prints. That's annoying when those ones mess up.
Oh, yeah.
That's when you that's when you get angry.
Well, because you wasted like half or a whole spool of filament too.
Oh, dude, when I was printing my server, I had a couple of them mess up, and it was like a kilogram worth of filament.
You're like, great, there's $30.
Yeah. It was like 30 hours of my time and $30.
Oh, see, that's why I need multiple printers.
I know, right?
I need more. This had made me kind of think. If you had unlimited money, unlimited space, what would your workshop, your office, what would your setup look like?
Yeah, that's a good question, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, more space, obviously, and then more delineation between different areas, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like you'd have the, kind of 3D printing area. You would have the office editing area. You might have, I'm trying to think, like I might have like a presentation set kind of.
Like a studio, maybe, if you will.
Yeah, just like a very simple something, like maybe like me standing behind a desk and I can put stuff that I want to talk about in front.
Yeah.
And
that's some nice lighting. So okay.
Yeah.
3D printers.
Yeah, exactly.
How many 3D printers do you think you'd have?
Money's no object?
Yeah.
I don't know. I probably have a row of
5 or 10?
5 or 6. Yeah, 5 to 10, something like that.
Okay.
I would actually the thing
Are
where
they
I would
all just humming away all the time?
Yeah, I think the area where I would really spend the money is having a bunch of different AMSs. Like, I'd really like to have one 3D printer with 4 AMSs stacked on top of each other so I can switch between 16 different filaments.
Ooh.
And have backups going. So whenever one
exactly,
because
I have a bookshelf in my office that's just filled with filaments that are still in box, and it's like, I might need them one day. So it'd be really nice to just have those already spooled up and ready to go.
And already dried.
Dried, exactly, but just ready to be used.
Because you get a new filament out of the box, and then it takes, 8 hours to dry it or whatever?
Yeah, exactly. And then, you dry it, you put it in the AMS, and it's like, oh, crap, I need to... for this project I'm working on, I actually need to load another filament. So you take it out, and you put it in a Ziploc bag, and you kind of hope it stays dry. But...
So... Here we're talking about unlimited funding, unlimited space, unlimited time, and we're mentally buying things that are on the shelf. You wouldn't go out and build a giant 4 foot by 4 foot 3D printer that could just print anything.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point. But that's true. That's a lot of time and a lot of brain power. It's nice to just go to a store, pick something up off the shelf, and set it up, and away you go, right? But I like where you're thinking. You're thinking.
I think I'd have
myself with
a big old rack, several 3D printers. You need a 3D printer space. Mm-hmm. And then each one is going to have several AMSs on it, loaded with tons of filament. I think I'd basically want to have one that's black PET G, blue PET G. Each printer is designated to a filament. So then when one roll runs out, you have 4 rolls just hanging out in there, so you'll never run out of filament.
Yes, yeah, that's when you can get into really automating, and you don't have to be there to replace filament. You can just print a million of your little dust collector things, and not really have to worry about anything.
I would do that, and then I would have that would be the 3D printing space for your computer desk area. Mm-hmm. Would you just get some ridiculously powerful computer? What would you, what kind of specs were we getting?
I mean, you just throw all the money at it, right? Yeah. It's funny, in the computer world, I've thought about this because I could conceivably throw a little bit of money at my computer and have a top end machine, but it doesn't really get you anything at a certain point. Computers are kind of as long as you have something that was made in the last 3 or 4 years, it's not really going to be appreciably that better.
I mean, even for what we're doing, editing 4K video, okay, 100%, a $500 computer, you might struggle a little bit. You could do it, but you might struggle a little bit. $5,000 computer, gonna be much better.
Yes.
A $15,000 computer compared to a $5,000 computer?
It's not that much, dude. It really, I've run the numbers, and it's you're looking at faster export times, and that's about it.
Yeah, okay, so a YouTube video, instead of taking 5 or 10 minutes to export, it might take 3 or 4.
Yeah, exactly.
And so unless you're cranking out 19 videos a day, it probably doesn't matter, right?
That's not the bottleneck in my workflow. It's not the export, right? So, I mean, if unlimited money, sure, I might go. I probably get top of the line consumer hardware, but you could get into
private
really specialized
server,
256 core server stuff. But that wouldn't actually be faster for video editing.
Yeah.
Because then you're just trading off.
You start your own channel, your own website. Just put all your stuff on your own website at this point.
Yeah. I mean, you could self-host a lot of stuff, but I don't know that you're really gonna. I don't know.
And then you just barrage ads like crazy on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's just there's diminishing returns with all this Dream Stop stuff or Dream Shop stuff.
Yeah. I think even if I had unlimited money, my dream workshop would still probably end up being smaller than Katz Moses's workshop. I wouldn't actually want to go that big. It would actually be relatively modest at the end of the day. It would be nice, but it wouldn't be so much that I just spent more time maintaining and like fixing things up and looking for things.
I
always thought it'd be really cool to get one of those to if you could get one of those old churches that's just like a single room with the windows all down both sides.
Oh yeah.
I was trying to convince Sophie of this. I saw a church listed for sale for it was like $700,000 or something like that. I was like,
that's cheap for Canadian prices.
Yeah, I know. And it was huge. It was like, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like 20,000 square feet or something like it. It had like a big, huge basement that already had a workshop set up in it. It had like a big open area.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's nice.
Huh. Would it have enough power? I'm assuming it have enough power. It's a commercial building.
That's a commercial space. Yeah, probably be fine.
That'd be so sick.
It was about 2 hours away, so it was a little bit of a drive. But
I think if I had unlimited money, it wouldn't be about me acquiring more tools. Like I wouldn't be like, okay, I need 9 table saws.
No, exactly. But you would have the best table saw, right?
Yeah, it might have 2.
Oh, you'd have to have at least a couple. For different
one with the dado
stack
like
one
on
set
it.
up with the dado, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, one with a plywood blade, one with a ripping blade. Okay, so give me 3. I want a dado stack saw, a plywood blade saw, and a ripping blade saw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you get multiple miter saws?
I would have a metal miter saw and a wood miter saw.
Ooh, yeah. Definitely some CNCs.
Yeah, maybe you want like a rough timber miter saw too. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So
I don't know, if you get a sliding table saw, do you still need a miter saw?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. Oh yeah, give me a sliding table saw too. That way I don't have to use my track saw.
Yeah. I would have a big fuck off. There's the explicit. I would have a big fuck off planer. Like a 48-inch wide planer. I could just put entire tabletops through it in one shot.
Those things are like $100,000 to buy.
I know, but totally worth it. And same thing, drum sander, 48-inch drum sander.
Yes. Yeah.
One would feed into the other. It would come out of the planer and it would just go right into the drum sander. Ooh. And then maybe it would feed into a spray booth on the other side.
Ooh,
would you need a second planer? Because if you got the 48-inch planer, how do you stand it up and get the other end of that square to the top that you just planed?
I would, yes. Then I would have a second planer that was inverted.
Okay. Now hear me out. This is this has got to be like 16 feet long workspace, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have a jointer that the outfeed bed on the jointer, as soon as it comes off the jointer, it's at the perfect level to go into your 48-inch wide planer. So you slide this son of a bitch down the line, and it's boom, you got pre-milled lumber.
So I like it. It would be table saw. Well, I guess what would the order of operations be? Would it be table saw into the jointer, into the planer, into the drum sander?
I don't know.
Into another table saw?
Maybe
into another table saw
to break it down or something.
Yeah, true.
I saw this. So we've recently been watching that How It's Made show. Great
show.
Pre-bedtime because it doesn't take any concentration, right?
100%. Yeah.
They did an episode about making shuffleboard tables, right?
Oh, okay. What goes into shuffleboard table?
You should have seen the glue up laminations for these like 3-inch thick slabs.
Yeah.
They're basically putting boards, instead of like flat, like, I don't know, perpendicular. And then using this router bit that like puts 3 grooves on one side and 3 tongues on the other. And then they slide these wood panels through this like a roller of glue. And then they just slap all of these bad boys together, and all the router tongue and grooves like basically just lock into one another. And so you get this like 18-foot long, 4-inch thick slab of like hard maple that's got to weigh hundreds of pounds, right?
Yeah.
But the glue up is like effortless, and they put it in this like massive oven so it cures the glue like incredibly fast. Like, it's nuts to see like something of that scale.
Ooh, that's a good Suman, are you there in the live chat? Suman, I would love to see one of your scientific breakdowns on glue joints if you put them in an oven. Can you put a glue joint in an oven to speed it up?
Oh, I would. I mean,
freezer.
No,
or freezer slow it down.
Oh.
Sure.
Well, we know the freezer works for epoxy because
I know,
Blake
right? Yeah.
from Beam Sculpture says that he puts his stuff in a freezer.
Yeah.
Takes like a month to cure, right?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, because he was casting stuff that was like 2 feet thick.
Right.
And they say not to do more than like an inch and a half.
Yeah, he's like, I'll do 2 feet, put it in the freezer. But it's funny that we all answered like going scale, right? Like getting things bigger, more efficient.
I think Joe touched on something that we missed.
What did Joe say?
Go.
Employees. Hire a bunch of employees to
Yeah.
handle all the tedious stuff.
Yeah, I'd have a cameraman for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
that would really make my life a lot smoother. I don't know what else. Yeah, I would have employee-wise though.
Somebody do just
Cleanup
sanding.
guy.
Somebody do just finishing.
Sanding, yeah. But that's like, that's only occasional though. That's the thing. I mean, I guess if money's not an option, you just have a guy who sits on his ass 30 days a week, and then on the first of the month,
it would be nice to have somebody like sweep up because you're working on projects and you're 3D printing. You get little bits and bobs of stuff on the ground. You're cutting stuff in the workshop. You're gonna get dust everywhere, and it's like,
dude, I'm telling you, Roomba.
I know. Have you ever used that, like Makita?
No, I would love to try it sometime.
Roomba?
I would love to try it. It takes 2 of their batteries, like 2 of their big batteries. It's kind of crazy.
How much do you think that thing is?
Oh, I looked it up once. It's expensive. It's like $1,000, I think.
I was gonna say $1,500 probably.
$1,500. 1577.
1,700 Canadian. Oh, and that's the bare tool.
Does it include the batteries?
No,
that's the bare tool. $1,850 if you want it with 2 batteries.
It's big too, but I guess it makes sense if it's for a workshop. It's got to have a big dustbin in it.
Does it not dock and charge itself then, like most other vacuum cleaners? So you have to swap out the batteries on it. That'd be annoying.
Yeah, that is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
Look, if you're in the market for one of these bad boys, I would say just get like 3 Roombas for that price. And the technology is gonna be lackluster on it compared to a Roomba. Like the Roombas, now, like they mop, they map your entire house, they detect if there's USB cables, and they navigate around them. They're crazy.
Okay, I gotta say this, not sponsored.
Wait, there's an upgraded one that's even more money. There's a HEPA rated one.
$3,200.
Wow. Yeah,
it's got 3 1-star reviews.
Well, I mean, I guess if you're paying that much money, you're going to be pretty particular. That one might have internal. Nope, still has external batteries. God damn.
All right, I got to say this. I am not sponsored, never have been. I know Zach has, but the Eufy or Yuffie, whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
The lawnmower one?
Okay. No, I don't. Not the lawnmower. I got one of those vacuum mop dealios for the house.
Okay.
Dude, the best thing ever. Had the Roomba version, and that thing got stuck and lost all the damn time. The Eufy one, flawless. Dude, it mops, it vacuums, it cleans its mop, dries its mop. And it was like $400 on Black Friday sale.
Dude, the Eufy,
incredible.
I know I'm biased because they sponsored some videos from me in the past. The Eufy ones will do the things that the $2,000 and $2,500 Roombas do at a quarter of that price.
And better.
Yeah. I had like a base entry level Roomba because it was like $500 and that was all I wanted to spend. And then I got like the top end Eufy one that's a very similar price. And the amount of features that it had compared to the base Roomba is just ridiculous. Yeah. So speaking of somebody who has multiple pets now, complete game changer.
How often do you change the bag on your little base station thing?
I've never changed it.
I
should check.
Just packed with stuff.
It might just be packed full. But the thing is, like, pet hair condenses down pretty good.
I know.
It packs, especially my cat's hair.
Because online it said, like, oh, it'll last for 60 days. I've had mine since Christmas time, and I've not changed the bag on it.
Yeah, I've definitely had mine for more than 60 days. That's like a worst case scenario, I think.
Yeah.
When do you run it?
So I run it, and this is a hot topic in our household.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I run it at 10 a.m.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm told that's still too early.
See, before COVID, it was great because Sophie and I would leave for work in the morning like you used to do pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And I would just run it at 9 a.m. every day, and then I would come home to Spotless House.
Yeah.
Now I kind of had to be a little strategic about it. So I usually run mine around lunchtime when we're both on lunch.
Yeah.
It's funny because they always like tout about like you can run it at night while you sleep, and I'm like, no. Mine ran at night. It's too loud. It's annoying.
If you were on a different floor, I think you'd be okay. I have one for my ground floor and one for my second floor, and I think I could sleep with the ground floor one going. But I don't do that. But maybe I could.
But you got to put it in turbo mode too.
They have different modes. You can put it in like the silent mode or whatever. It goes a little slower.
Yeah. Hey, we got to address something real quick. Did anybody send you a message today? James O'Donnell chimed in on the live chat.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone send you a message?
Corey hit me at like 9 a.m. with one. I was like, not
the
cool, dude.
Peanut butter joke. So for folks that don't know, this had to have been like 3 years ago, right?
Yes.
Okay, it was like 3 years ago. It was April.
Early podcast days.
Yeah. I put out an Instagram. This is when people posted stuff on Instagram. Mm-hmm. Put out an Instagram video, and I was like, hey, Zach, my buddy Zach's doing a huge festival giveaway, Traxol, Domino, yada, yada, yada. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All you got to do is send him a DM that says peanut butter. Mm-hmm. Didn't think really much was going to catch on, but boy, was I wrong, Zach.
Oh boy, were you ever. You should have seen my inbox. It was just like, I felt like a celebrity for like one day because it was just like constant notification. Ding, 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 peanut butter, peanut butter, peanut butter, peanut butter.
What's going on?
It was brutal.
And see, like, maybe this is just my old man tendencies, but like today I'm like, I'm not even going to go on Instagram because all these companies are going to be posting the dumbest stuff on there. It's not even funny. It's like, this is stupid.
It went from being fun. I feel like April Fool's Day was fun about 10 years ago.
Yep.
When companies started being like, hey, we can do like silly gag things and like, but now people feel like obligated to do it.
I know.
They have to. And it's like, if you're operating in that space, it's not going to be good. No. You're basically like just checking a box on a list. And it's,
trying to be like, look, we're personable too, though one day out of the year.
Exactly. Yeah.
Companies got to quit it. I gotta quit.
Yeah. Hey, real quick before we head to the after show, while we're on the subject of vacuums, I got a leaf vacuum. It's basically the opposite of a leaf blower. And I was using it before we started the podcast, and it's now quickly become my favorite tool.
You can't wait for the fall.
I'm psyched for the fall, but also springtime, the snow melts, and you have all those rotting leaves that are left over and nobody wants to touch them because they're horrible.
Yeah.
I use my leaf vacuum. Just suck them up. It's got a thing in it, like a little turbine that mulches the leaves as it sucks them up. Oh. And then you just have a big bag that you empty into a yard waste bag, and the city comes and takes it away.
What brand would we go with?
I got the Craftsman one just because I already have a bunch of Craftsman stuff already.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
But a bunch of different companies make them. I'm sure they're all probably pretty good.
My grandparents used to have one, but I mean, this was in like early 2005, 2006 ish. Mm-hmm. And I remember it just being, if I'm not mistaken, it was a plug-in red Toro brand, if that brand
Ooh.
or yard gear, strikes a bell with you. It was awful.
Yeah, my dad's got a bunch of Toro stuff for his yard, like Toro hedge clipper and stuff like that. It's like, we have hundreds of DeWalt batteries. Why didn't you just get the DeWalt stuff?
Right.
And he's like, oh, I didn't even think about that.
So, but this one doesn't clog. It doesn't suck. Or I mean,
not so far. I mean, I used it today for the. Yeah, it sucks quite well actually. Okay. I used it today for the first time, so maybe ask me again in a couple months. But so far, so good.
All right. Okay. Huh. Well, hey, we should address something at the end of the show. By the way, if you guys didn't pick up on the joke earlier, it is April Fool's. After we just got done talking about how much we hate when people do April Fool's.
Yeah.
We said this is going to be our last episode. It's not.
Nah, it's not. We're going to keep doing it.
Next week will be our last episode. So on that note, hey, we want to give a huge shout out to our new Diamond Dog.
Can I be a Diamond Dog?
Hey, Diamond Dogs, mount up. Let's go.
We've got a new Diamond Dog this week. Living Creative.
Hell yeah.
So huge shout out to our top tier patrons and everybody else. And our other patrons too are supporting the show, getting access to everything else. We are going to head over to patreon.com/offthecut-podcast, log in to that, the bonus show. And before we go over there, we're going to have our BYOC, Bring Your Own hangout with our top tier patrons on Tuesday, April 15th, to celebrate everybody paying their taxes on time, hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
We're going to hang out with our top tier patrons. So if you want to unlock that live hangout that we do every single month, just go over to patreon.com/offthecut-podcast. Sign up to be a Diamond Dog top tier, and you get to hang out with us and everybody else and talk about whatever you want.
Guess we're going to have a new member joining us. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. We already have one hot topic that we're going to be talking about. And, I just say it's called bad courses that we've wasted our money on.
Oh, I'm excited. You did a lot of research.
Yeah. So
I'm excited for you to throw somebody under the bus.
Yeah. Well, if you want to get access to this spicy stuff, you can only get it on the, on Patreon. So, we're going to head over there. We'll see you dogs next week.
Spoiler alert. It was Scott.
It was Scott Walsh. Evergreen Workbench course is terrible. We give a huge shout out to our returning top tier patrons: Corey Duvall at Woodcrafts and Honey, Josh at Sawdust Bills, Joe Welsh at Delaware Valley Workshop, Goblin Spanker.
You can't say that anymore.
Zach, to be honest with you, I don't even know if I followed you.
Bingo bango, you're done.
You should stop.